Oh, shit. Hi. So, oh, I don't know how to do these. I didn't practice. This is not another BL podcast where, yes, we talk about BL things.
We can start over. Okay.
Yeah, please. I forgot. What do we need a jingle? Do we have like a little intro jingle? We didn't think of anything.
We don't have anything yet.
You said you're going to work with Sincerely about it.
Yeah, you said you were going to do an intro with Sincerely.
Wait, hold on. Let me think of something I can do. Okay, I got it. Let's retry. Can we turn it off and back on, or is no?
No, we can edit it.
Oh yeah, duh. Okay. Okay.
We were doing so good until you push record.
I know, we're so good until you hit record. Okay. Welcome to Not Another BL podcast. I'm Shannon. Well, Gossip Girl. You want to go, Kelly?
Hey, I'm Kelly. Also, BL Chef.
And I'm Heatherly. I'm Reddish Trying.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to talk about BL related things. Oh, I have a list.
And you can find us all on TikTok.
Oh, shit. We are on TikTok. We have accounts. This isn't being cut. We're just powering through. We have accounts on TikTok. Yeah, it's in the name. I talk about gossip. Probably not the gossip you're thinking. And then Kelly's. Huh.
I talk shows. I do analysis. I also that's for the next segment. I also talk about Bilkin and PP and Earth Mix a ton. And I also cook.
Yeah, hence the name. And this is
BL Show.
And I'm mostly known for just shows. I do a lot of commentary on shows.
Yes, like reactions and other things like that. We're going to have to very fun ones, by the way.
Yes.
Go watch. And she's on YouTube. So, what else? Oh, so we're going to just jump in because I learned about podcasts. So
we knew. Shannon just learned. So now we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page now.
Exactly. We introduced ourselves. Check. Okay. And then
that's what I said earlier. I was like, is that a crayon?
It is a crayon. Because I was coloring. Aww. So now it's what are we watching currently? So, I guess I can start. What am I watching? Oh, shit. Be My Favorite. And I'm watching that one weekly. And I'm watching Vion, the Vietnamese one with Bob In. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like there's probably another. Oh, Star in My Mind. I'm catching up on that one. I didn't watch it when it aired. So I really like that one. It's kind of goofy.
Super cute. I'm watching Be My Favorite. That's like my obsession one. I'm watching Tokyo in April. I got that name all wrong the other day. Mm-hmm. Tokyo April, which is really good. It's very interesting. We're only on episode 3. I swear there's other shows. What are the other shows? Oh, Step by Step. Can't forget Step by Step. Watching Step by Step. I swear there's something else. That's all I can remember right now, though. No, I'm not watching Le Pluie.
You're not watching
Le Pluie? I'm out of the loop.
Trying to think what you like randomly message about which shows.
I think it's mainly those 3.
I think it is mainly those 3. Yeah. I know for me it's Be My Favorite, which is we all talk about weekly on that one. Tokyo in April is. I'm watching that one. I just finished Naked Dining and Love Tractor, so those are done. But
Love Tractor. I watched Love Tractor too.
And then the one that I literally started last night and got completely caught up on is Tie the Knot. Very good.
Oh, I need to get caught up. I'm watching Tie the
Knot. What platform is that on?
YouTube. It's Filipino.
Oh, okay. That was on my list. Okay, I need to watch it.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, I'll start that one.
That one's a lot of fun.
There's interesting things.
Wild episodes. So that's what we're watching this week. And then my third thing before we're just gonna go and talk about whatever the heck we feel like, is our hyperfixation of the week. What have we just been so obsessed with, and we cannot stop looking into it or talking about it? And I 100% know what's coming. So I'm gonna let who wants to go first? I'm gonna wait because I want to see if I'm right.
Kelly, you first.
For me, it's Love Out Loud Fest.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just scroll. Like
Mine's
any,
somewhere between the Love Out Loud Fest and Nanon's new music career path that he's choosing. So like, I'm getting a lot of translations on those interviews. So that's my main hyperfixations at the moment.
This is kind of background, which I'll just give background. We have, I guess, focuses, and Red's focus is Omen and Nan, and she just like knows a hell of a lot about them and their careers and like all this other stuff. And then Kelly is the go-to, in all honesty, for Bilkin and PP. And then like Earth Mix, I think we share probably the same level of hyperfixation on Earth Mix. Yeah.
I liked Earth Mix until I was friends with you two, and then it kind of exploded from there. I know way too much information.
And this is funny, but how I like with both of you, I knew a lot about Bilkin and PP, and I think you were shocked to realize how much I watched their interviews and like behind the scenes and all this stuff, and I love the shows. And then Omen and Nan as well. I knew a lot about them as well. I don't have as big of a focus on them, but I'm always in the background watching those two, I guess. Good one. Yeah. So that was fun. I like impressing people when I randomly am like, oh, like who is it? CJ was asking me about Force and Book, and I was like, let me tell you something.
Oh, I've learned about them now. I know now. I didn't before.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by your information about Omen and Nan. It was, I just needed somebody to talk to about it because nobody else was paying attention at the time that I was.
Yeah.
Like, they were paying attention to them, but not like at what was happening. And I was like, okay, I need someone to talk to because I need to get this out of my brain.
I remember right around, I think, close to like the beginning when we all really connected. I had made a video where I was like, ooh, I think the CP is being phased out. I was like, I think there's some things I've noticed. That did not go over well, by the way. People did not like that video. But it was pretty funny because we actually had a lot to talk about on like the whole, like, yeah, we're seeing some things. And there's like little clues. And like, look where we are today. Ha, haters.
I think we're going to go back to, there's sometimes I don't want to be right.
Yeah, literally it was, I think it's much easier now. It was because I think we now know like, oh, okay, there's plans, they're doing things. And for a while, we just didn't know what the heck was going to happen. Who was going to land where.
I think we needed Love Out Loud Fest to really see them interact and go, okay, these two people are fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we knew they were fine, but you could like see that they were fine. And that this was just them trying to move on with their careers.
Yeah.
Oh, I
needed other people that they're close to confirm for me what I thought I already knew.
Yeah. That on Twitter, despite view limits, I'm still seeing people who are like convinced they're not good and still like mad about things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, nothing's ever good enough.
You don't look at people the way they look at each other when you're mad at them.
Yeah. And also I'm wondering how many, I know so many people started or like came in with some big shows. Bad Buddy is one of them. We got King Porsche, and I say like Cutie Pie. I feel like these three really brought in a whole group of people. And I'm like, oh man, you guys haven't actually seen a CP get phased out. Or you haven't watched these sort of things because they're hard, but you can kind of spot the signs that it's happening. Or kind of some of the stuff going down with BOC. You've never seen a ship implode. Like, it's hard. It's hard to watch these things. Yeah. That's what I do, though. You know, a couple months from now, I'm going to be making videos like detailing how it happened. No, I'm joking. I'm not touching those people again.
Be safe. Let's be safe.
God.
I know you like to walk the tightrope on this world, but maybe we should be safe.
It's just that so often I forget what I've committed to doing because something happens and I'm like, this is so exciting. I got to tell everyone. And then I'm like, oh no, I talk about someone.
You said no more.
Mm-hmm.
Made us a promise.
Oh no.
Pretty much. Well, that's good because the LOL Fest is on the list of fun things to talk about. It is hard when we can't be like, you see this clip?
I know we could. We just have to
Technically,
be
you
more organized. You could do the clips in here. We can pull them up and show each other. Yeah.
Oh, serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
like
present
it. Watch
option.
me next time.
Yeah, there's presentation mode. We can show
See how
you.
organized I am right now? Just wait.
Oh,
Wait till next
ridiculously
time.
proud of you.
I wrote.
I'm not organized today, so good for you.
I wrote on paper. I did.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of
This was what was funny to me was the LOL Fest basically took over everything. So it was everything I was seeing from like Twitter to Instagram to TikTok to everything. And then you guys were like, look at all this stuff. And I was like, yes. Obviously, I got distracted by some stuff because there was some other crazy crap going on in different that was not as much fun. But crazy
It was
stuff.
a nice palate cleanser for you though when you got done with it.
I know, it was all sitting there. I watched everything. I was like clicking. But what I think is funny is I talked to someone and they were like, a fest happened? And I was like, what?
They didn't know.
Where's your feed? What were you watching? Yeah.
As somebody who with one message from you, I got stuck on Cake Talk for 2 weeks.
TikTok was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like, because there's still fan cams and stuff of like stuff that happened. So I'm still like, I'm like, oh, and that happened too. That happened too.
I saw the one clip you guys shared where like Om is looking at Nanan and there's like fire coming up behind him and it's right before they do like a little handshake moment. And I was like, no, I need to see what Nanan's face looks like during this. Where's the other person? Is there someone on the other side?
It is. There's one that shows both.
Yeah. We need it together because I was like, what is he looking at right now? What does this dude's face look like?
The same. And they're giving each other like a knowing look of like, okay, we did this. And not I'm saying it like, okay, we did this, but it's more of like, we're good, we've done that. All of it felt like closure, and all of it felt like, okay, we got through this thing. And I think they probably wouldn't have gone that well if it hadn't been the group that it was.
Yeah. Do you know what was fun leading up to it though? Was that they started sharing each other's stuff on social media. It really was like, I was hyped. I was like, look at you guys.
Yep.
Sharing a story.
I think
it was really a big deal. They went months without sharing anything, even like another person's tweet about it, or like story or message or anything. They went months without that. And that's what I was like. That's why I was like, I was sending it to the group. I was like, it did the thing.
But it was interesting because you had like Om in his corner and then like Nanan being not able to disconnect in a way that made him look good. That was the weird shift I was not prepared for, where people were turning on Nanan.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. And I could clearly see he just didn't know how to act. You're with somebody that you're like this with constantly. And now to like kill that couple, you're told you can't like touch them or look. It just translated in his mind into something that fans could not handle.
Yeah. It was so weird though, because for me, I've had to watch this progression like from a long time, and it went from everybody was mad at Om for a reason, and then it drifted in, oh, they're okay, which they weren't, but that's fine, and then they went into everybody despised Om because of the scandals and stuff like that, and they were like convinced that Om was this bad guy. And then when it became that Om wasn't a bad guy and Nanan was like distinctly separate, then Nanan became the bad guy, and then he only progressively got worse. So it was like, I was like, what is, like, I'm just watching. I was like, what? What's happening?
But I feel like they're specifically, and this is just our just to be clear, this is our perception of the things that we see.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I don't know if that's needed for this conversation, but it's just our perception.
As we could be wrong. One day we might get fact checked by one of these actors, and I will cease to exist. I will just.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I feel like in this, the way that Ohm would constantly show up and detract, and it wouldn't allow for the Nanan bad space to last too long. Like, he came in with his apology, and I think that created his second, third, fourth, I don't know which apology it was, but the one that he finally got to do at the press conference. He finally got to actually say all the words and explain from beginning to end everything that happened, so that people could get a full picture. That's when everyone was like, oh, okay, with but it also like just took the pressure off of the whole situation. And then that's when you got to see Nanan start to relax a little bit more. And he started to come back into, come back into himself, because I feel like for a minute there, we weren't seeing the Nanan we had known. And so he seemed to like loosen up. He was more playful. And that's when we saw him like sharing own stuff again. And it was nice to see.
we would talk about, I am not as tactful as these two. Either of these two. You guys would not believe how many times I've been told, don't do that. Just straight up, like, you can't, don't do it, don't say it. Because a lot of the times I just like see things, I'm like, oh, this is interesting, and then it's always like, But one of the things I remember was I made a video because people were pissed at Nan and then Mark, and they were like, oh, Mark is going to replace Ohm. And then I like came in and I made this video. I was like, guys, it's okay. This is just what it looks like when a CP gets phased out, and like you start seeing these things, and this is very normal. And I'm very positive that they are fine behind the scenes. Holy freaking cow! That was like a whole thing that just like did a whole thing and stuff. But what was really funny to me was people were like in the comments explaining to me like, no, they hate each other because this is happening, and they're so unprofessional right now. And I had like messed around. I was like, did they miss like the months prior? I was like, because it was hard watching these like people. I was like, this is very professional.
Yeah. Yes. It really wasn't. They weren't doing anything. Nanan was just working very hard not to interact. Because to be fair, on the one hand, I'm like, oh, you're not doing this well. But to be fair, when they even just look at each other, everyone does go, oh.
I think it's hard not to. Yeah.
So, as critical as we want to be of Nanan's approach to it, honestly, like, just the tiny interaction they did at LOL Fest, like for me, it was like, oh, they're good. It's nice to watch them be good. For some people, they were like, they're still in love and getting married tomorrow. Like, so, because they glanced eyes at each other like twice at LOL Fest. Like, so I get it. I get why he did what he did. It didn't look good for him, but honestly, where do you go? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, literally. That's how I was viewing Nanan, because I was just like, it's also as interesting to me what like picks up at what time. Like suddenly the interview he did a bit ago where he mentioned having ADHD started making its rounds now, and then people were going after fans, and they were like, oh, you made this comment about someone who has ADHD, and I was like, well, okay, I'm all for like bringing the heat, because like I too have ADHD. But this is me speaking from my personal experience. This might not be the same for Nanan, but I was like, I have people who I am very, I won't say like hyper focused on, because it has never left. It's not like something that's like a new shiny toy. But if they are one of my people, they are one of my people. And so I can't imagine if you have someone who is like your person, and then you have to like slowly start taking that away from the in front of the screen, like what's shown to people. I have
a feeling it was not slowly, and I think
that it was not slowly.
Like, it felt like he got taken off cold turkey from his fidget toy, and like
yes,
and he's like, I'm lost and confused, and I can't touch anything. What am I supposed to do? And he just shuts down.
Yes, because like even like when I'm in the room with one of my people, it is. There is no not. There is no like being chill. There's nothing because everything is like without thinking. I'd be like, oh my God, come listen. If all of a sudden all I had to do was think about not interacting with a person, I can't imagine what I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would blame Ohm. I think it's not even fair to say Ohm did it better. It fits Ohm's personality. He's just kind of a chill person, so he could do it. But even for him, it was hard because he's used to looking at someone and getting a reaction. That was his go-to too, and he's used to the physical interaction too. That's the part they both. The thing I saw with Ohm that actually made me emotional at the LOF fest was you could tell how touch-starved he was and how he just was just a cuddle bug and got to like run and play and be like loved up on, and you could tell how much he needed it and how like exiled he was before, and so he wasn't getting all of that, as regularly. So that was, or in front of people. Like, even if you can get it behind closed doors, it feels icky when someone's like, oh, I can't touch you, they might see. That feels gross.
And I think that's something it is hard for, or I don't think maybe fans realize as much of, or that we don't think about it all the time or talk about it. And I always say like on camera versus off camera, but it's just having so much of yourself have to be on camera and in front of the camera because you are a product, It's very much how it's set up. And I'm speaking more specifically in Thailand right now because they don't have the same sort of setup with ships and how they market BLs in the other countries. But there's a child. Wait a second.
Mom.
What?
Mom. Grandma.
We can just edit this out.
I'm letting my family know that I am on a live, so I can't come upstairs for dinner.
I was supposed to cook. I might need to just order. I didn't think we were going to go in this direction, but
I used to have something in my house.
Okay, sorry. Woo!
Okay.
Apparently my children don't know what to do if I'm not there. So, makes sense. I have more crayons now. So, what I say was like, oh yeah, always having to be on screen like that. Like that's always one of the things when I say we're like talking about fan service, and then everyone automatically thinks of the way they behave with each other, and I think of the amount we see of them.
Yeah.
So, like for me, I'm like, yeah, fan service is the amount of lives we see, the amount of interaction. That to me is like, oh, it's not necessarily the way they interact with each other as it is just the volume that we get to witness.
Yeah.
I think what was so rare about, especially the afterwards for the LOL Fest, when we watched them just sitting in the chairs and taking the pictures, it's kind of some of the guard came down. Okay. Some of the guard came down, and we got to see them kind of more in a natural state than normal.
Yeah.
Because they were there for long. They were sleep deprived, they were hungry. They were like trying to just keep themselves entertained and going. And so
Book having those snacks in his jacket will never not.
That was so funny.
Oh my God. And the way people were getting the snacks out was even more entertaining. But they were just at the point of no return where they didn't have the energy to put up, to play the roles. Yeah. And so you kind of see them settle into just how they are. And one of the things whenever people were like, fan service, I was like, if you paid attention, they were barely with their actual couples.
Right. Yeah, they were all
over. They did more fan service with other people's couples than they did anything else. Like,
it was like,
everybody oh my gosh. Was all mushed up and
it was like, oh, someone's sitting on someone's lap. It was not their ship partner.
Yeah. No. Most of the time, no. And it seemed like they don't always, and I know that's true because Mick said it in the first, was it the first safe house, that he was like he normally doesn't get to spend time with everybody, and so like I know that that's like a thing, right? They're
Yeah.
not getting to play and enjoy each other's company. That they seem to really have fun with that.
That was something I was thinking about because at one time in one of the interviews, they asked First and Cal, like, who are you guys close to? And then they both like looked at each other and they're like, oh God, we're so nervous to say we're close to them in case they won't say they're close to us.
Yeah.
And it was like Earth and Mix. And it's kind of funny because I think people will automatically put them together because of Moonlight Chicken. And these two are like, we're so like, like we're scared to say we know them well. Like, I don't know, they're little fans too.
It's super cute because you think of it. It's also their different energies. Because when Pooin was asked that, he was like, "Earth, Mick." Like he did not pause.
He was like he knew,
and they better know. It's like very different energy.
We are close. You have no choice. Pooin is just his own brand of confidence, though. So we're just gonna.
God love him.
He's my favorite.
Oh man,
he's a good time.
He is. He's a lot of fun. This is really funny, but from the LOL Fest, Pond looks like such a baby to me now. There's this one picture that everyone has because they're grouping him with like who is like a year older than him. They're grouping him with and Earth and Force, and there was like this picture of all of them shirtless, and I was like, Pond is a baby. And it just, I was like, why he should have been in the little pajama thing.
Can we talk about just really quick about how First and Cal were in the pajamas? Like they were like,
I'm not in the. I'm not.
They're
in
like,
that
that is not me.
You're like, we're a pajama people. Y'all know we're and they were so happy. They were like, pajamas.
And you know what's funny is they also fight over their ship because you know how they do the name of the ship. And those two are always like, who is it? Who is it today? What character is it this time? And so it was also funny.
It reminds me of Bone and Prim when they do that. Every time they do that, that's Bone and Prim.
Yeah.
He was like, excuse me.
I do think Prim is right. No.
I do think it's really funny when there are those moments like with the name stuff, and then there's one of them like, "What I just hear you say? What just happened?" I love those moments; they're hilarious. Also, though, that is why I can't remember Jung and Dunk correctly because hear me out. Even though it's dumb that like how they put whose name first is like based on in the show what character is like. Yeah. Well, so then what happens is their personalities do not match the pairing that they got in the show. So then when it comes down to the name, I'm like, oh, this is you and this is you. No. And then it just gets very tangled up in my brain because sometimes I get it really right and then sometimes I get it so wrong. And then I'm like.
And also, to be fair with June Dunk, there are these traditional roles that we get in our heads of like what people look like, and which is why all of that is so dumb. But if you look at like who's running the show there, it's not June.
That's why.
Dunk.
So Dunk. The cheat sheet of like if you maybe haven't seen their show or you don't know, and so you're just going off, it doesn't work. It's not a cheat sheet.
No.
I mean, the same goes for Gemini and Fourth.
And Pooin.
If like, we're being there's a lot of them that like.
Why stop naming all the people? I have struggled.
But also, I think a lot of it is the sound of the names together. If you flip them, they don't sound the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also
doesn't roll off the tongue as easily. So sometimes it is just the name of this thing.
Once I watched My School President, I was like, okay, this name is attached to this person. It was much easier. I haven't seen Pond and Pooin in something yet, so I haven't.
Pond is so Pond though, and Pooin is so Pooin.
Always Pond. Pooin is always Pooin.
I have like I see their faces. So it's very hard for me because since I see their faces, I know who is who and like whose personality is attached to who, and then I'm just like, which name goes with you? So and it's only hard when I have to like talk to people about stuff, and I'm like, I'm very confident, I'm like, oh, I know you guys. I know who played what role picture wise. And but just
It's funny but like those couples also prove why that whole
it's so
ship name thing is absolutely dumb because just because of this heteronormative like, oh, he's bigger, therefore it's like still dumb because that one, like, what is the reason to have your name first?
Yeah. Didn't First say in a interview, because like somebody asked if it was before their show came out, if it was First Cow or Cow First, and he was like, well, if you go by the book, it's Cow First, but because we're going by our looks, it's First Cow. He didn't say that we are First Cow. He said, if you're going by our looks, it's First Cow. And I was like, that is a very interesting way to phrase that for an interview.
That's what they're doing, right?
Yep. I think they're adorable because they will literally be like, Cow will be like, today, it's Cow First.
Today.
I think it's so much fun. Oh, see, I would like to go get ice cream with those two.
Oh, ice cream with them would be fun.
And I'm thinking of that right now because it's very hot in this room.
You just want to get ice cream.
Ice cream? Bring them along.
Now that I saw the little Mix DJing video, I want to go to the club with Mix.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't think he's going to the club, he needs to go with me. Maybe he is.
No, I don't think he is now. He's so busy. Well, all of his pictures are just like, look, I'm on a couch.
Yeah.
I'm home.
I get that too. That is my norm, but it's just I was like, oh, you're fun.
It was funny listening to him in an interview not in an interview. Oh my God, this man liked a tweet or like retweeted something about once you're 25, like life is settling down now. And I was like, dude.
I think only when you're settled down.
I was like, sir.
Because if you're not settled down.
There are very specific circumstances that makes that accurate.
You're out there. But if you don't have a reason to be out there, then you settle down.
It was, I was thinking about, it's always like, ooh, who would you interview if you could? I never want to interview Earth and Mix because my face. I don't know how to control things. And I just know I'd be like, oh, I know that already. And I'd be like, never mind, I'm so sorry. Continue talking.
You'd be probably more like on June 11th, you retweeted these 3 things. What does it mean?
Is that they're like, well, there was this one time that we did this and I could fill in the sentence. I don't want to do that.
I don't know how would they like that, or I always wonder, like, if you have encyclopedic knowledge, like, so when I watch the wing show where they eat hot wings and he asks questions, he's like, people love being interviewed by him because he can go back and get this information that no one else knows, and they get really excited. Because he'll ask him questions nobody asks them because he has this knowledge. So I think if you could use your powers for good in that way, because I'm like, would I be a creepy Bilkin and PP interviewer or interesting? But if I
think you would be interesting.
I think you'd be interesting.
Yeah, because
I have to edit myself.
I always have to remind. I'm like, Best is really chill. Like I think I could probably just sit down and have a Q&A with Best, and it would go really well because I do know a lot of things obviously now that's going on about his businesses and the other things he's got coming up, and I can ask about a lot of stuff outside of tell me about the character in your show. Mm-hmm. So I do think it's to that level it would be handy, imagine sitting there and asking Earth why did you open a second location that was bigger than the first only a couple months after? What led to that decision? What was going right? Because I think that would be interesting because I'm like, why'd you do that?
That is a good question, though. I want to know that, too.
I know.
Well, because
Pretty
I feel
bad.
like it's so little time. Normally, you need at least a year before you're like, I'm going to open up another one.
Yeah, it made me think. Like, I'm like, you've got to have some like business swabbiness because that was planned. Probably
Most
when the
people
first
say
one was
business
opening, Chris
acumen,
was
and you
already
say
in motion.
swabbiness.
Business swabbiness. This is where the industry stuff that I just get.
See,
This is
now
where
I'm thinking
joke
of other
down.
questions because I'm like, I know you have like this dream mountain. How, like, what does that look like actually? Like, what is it? A farm? Is it a cottage? Like, what is that picture in your mind? You talked about it a little. Oh man, now you got me thinking of questions. Where are we in this?
So, like, that's the
conversation?
thing, because we know a lot about these people,
Yeah.
and we legitimately care about them. We're not just like
Mhm.
questionable sometimes. We can form different questions than other people. And we don't always, like, we can fill in the blanks for the people who maybe don't know the basic information so that we can ask the more interesting questions.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
There's definitely it feels like a rotation of questions that they get asked.
Mm-hmm. The
when
same
they
thing
do-
happens every time American or, English speaking interviewers interview K-pop idols most of the time. It's always the same, like, who in America do you want to do a collab with? And everybody's like, they mentioned this so many times by now.
Yeah, like you should know this.
Like, are you looking for a specific so it's just more like, and I just watch it a lot with K-pop, so I also watch it a lot with BL actors. And I'm like, I want to give them new questions.
Yeah.
Ones that they would enjoy answering.
I was just thinking, like, I already have like a list of things where I'm like, best be prepared because I've been making one. Yeah.
Is it anything like your zombie apocalypse one?
This was really funny. He was not. I was thinking back to the first time I ever showed up on his live and I asked him the zombie apocalypse question. And he was like very into it and well thought out. And now he is so desensitized to sincerely in me. The last time someone came on and asked it, he was like, I'm just going to watch TV and eat chips. And then I was like, it's okay. I'll save you. And then he was like, no.
No.
I'm kind of wondering how do we get something like LOL Fest again or something like that kind of energy?
Yeah, how could?
What are other? I don't know. Did it work because of the collection of people? Did it work because it felt like Earth Mix were kind of manning it? I don't know, but I want more stuff like
It was
that.
the same vibe that Yin War gave at their concert thing that they had. So maybe it's just the people and the setup that they create with it. Because I mean, that the LOL Fest was set with a lot of very talented people.
Yeah,
and they're all very fun, even if they weren't talented in the thing that they were currently doing. All of them were talented, but like if they felt less comfortable in one portion, they were still enjoying themselves enough that it was enjoyable for us to watch with people. And
it was. I'll say something controversial. Like I didn't get as into Beluga Fest.
Oh yeah.
I did it. Like I wasn't watching every second of it. I didn't need to gobble it all up the way I did LOL Fest. And
I'm not still watching Beluga Fest stuff 2 weeks or after.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll, oh my God, someone will come for me. That's okay. It's also the same for like Bilkin and PP's Fan Fest. Like I was more engrossed in PP's because there was just more to take away from. And he did that whole thing where he met the fans afterwards. So I feel like there, and his interaction was, he had that like really interaction you could go back and watch and enjoy, which they did with their joint fan meet. So there's more to watch there. But yeah, I think I like that. I don't know, the kind of laid back. It felt laid back. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
It felt like the show was the show, but then their interaction afterwards felt comfortable. I don't know.
I also think like with the is it Beluga?
Beluga.
I just said it.
Okay.
And I hoped it was right.
I think
I think they had two similar but also different fan faces being brought in because it was very much old school versus new school. And what was the thing that I was thinking about? But it was the same. I like the old school people, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
followed them for a while. But this one was just, I also, maybe it was just like the younger energy, you know, it was the old people before, you know, people who have backaches. And now it's the youngins.
I think it's the interaction. I feel like it was the interaction and getting them to see them do stuff we don't like when they brought them all together to perform. Like when Ohm was performing, or not Ohm. We got when Earth got to play flute and perform with everyone. When they did their little rap song, that was great because it was like actually really good. Like maybe that's it too. Like I was like, go ahead. Even like the drum solo Ohm did, and then with like the not, I know everybody keeps talking about that moment, but it's because it had impact. Like I want to get in again. Like I don't know, it just
Also, the amount of times people where I'm like, this was not scripted. Like it just seemed like so much of it was
yes,
people like very much in the moment. Like let's just have some fun.
They were just playing. Like the fact that like Duncan June switching the bite thing. And one
that was fun.
One played biting, the other one actually biting. Like it was like it just felt, even if it was scripted, like everybody knew that was supposed to happen, that was working it, but they did it so differently and in their own way and how they wanted to do it. It felt unscripted, even though it was scripted. So like it's one of those, like they just made it feel more comfortable for themselves, which made it feel more comfortable for all of us, which made it more fun for everybody. I think.
Yeah. I agree. I liked it. It's been a lot of fun. I'm like you guys. Every time a new one, like clip or video I haven't seen comes across my feed, I stop, I watch the whole thing. I'm like, let me see. The amount of times it is the exact same moment that I have seen like 50 times, I don't give a shit. I'm like, it's a new song. Someone put a new song over it. It's a new edit. Let's bring it out of emotion.
A different angle. Like it wasn't until recently that I saw the angle of when they're in the cuddle pile of Dunk, Gemini, and we've only seen it from one direction. And then when you see it from the other direction, Ohm is looking at Nan, which we never would have known. You never would have known had you not gotten the other point of view.
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
Doing this to us. Yeah, man. And I know I always say like, oh, Gemini and Fourth, they remind me so much of like my brother and his friends. Oh my God. The whole thing, I was just like, this looks like literally, I was just sitting there and like, man, 19-year-old boys are so similar. And it was a lot of fun for that reason. I was just like, yeah, man, yeah. It's fun. It's goofy.
I will watch what was it, C or C put his hand on Book's thigh over and over again. It is never not fun. Like that's not planned. It's not fan service. It's just literally. Oh, sorry, bud.
I'm sorry.
Wrong thigh.
I just love how it was immediate. I'm up.
Like, I don't think they even talk about this.
Did they even speak to each other? I'm pretty sure.
No, they kind of just looked at it like.
No.
I think there might have been like a sorry kind of like thing, but I'm not sure actual conversation happened. I feel like it was just like.
I like how Book was like, "I'll be the one to leave."
Yeah. And she's like,
"Let me go find my person."
Oh, it's so funny.
We should have known that this was all we were going to end up talking about.
I don't know what else is on your list.
Yeah, you just told us the beginning.
Oh, be my favorite.
Yeah,
we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can switch. Or
no,
how long is this supposed to be?
Well, I'm looking at how long we've been going, and I was thinking maybe if we go to the 1 hour mark, then we can be like set.
Yeah. Should we then? Well, I'll ask you to
figure out, I guess.
Ask me what?
I don't want to have to cut it. Well, we've done it now.
Oh, I'll do some stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, should we cut it and then do another one with Be My Favorite? So then there's 2 in the can, or do you need to go?
Oh.
Do you mean?
Yeah. It's 5:23. I might be able to pull off another one and we could talk about Be My Favorite.
You know
But
what I mean? We've got two episodes done.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are so smart. Look at you. Guys. Dream team here. All right. I'm just along for the ride. I'm just showing up with my crayons. Okay.
You're the show pony. It's fine.
I like that we're figuring out how this is working on the podcast.
It's
I
the
literally
most on-brand thing for the three of us to do this.
Yes, 100%.
I like before we hit record, I came on here. I was like, yeah, I don't even listen to podcasts. They were like,
Oh, Shannon.
I'm sorry. I mean, I've listened. Like one time I drove through Wyoming and I played a true crime documentary podcast, which was the wrong thing to do, by the way, when you're driving in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around you and you're stopping in a town of 10 people to go like pee. Yeah, not the thing to do. I was like, do I have cell service? I need to ping people so they know where I am. But I've listened to like that, but I haven't listened to, like people chatting. Oh, I won't say that because people might get mad at me if they find out.
Let's not do that.
I'll say, I was like, I don't even really watch lives.
I mean, that's fair. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess not.
I watch Best live. Hey, Best.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Is there any LOL Fest stuff that we left?
I'm trying to win the loyalty badge with Best. Like, remember, Best? I got him to say I'm his favorite.
What was your favorite moment? Of all the clips that you guys have seen, what was your favorite?
Oh, I know.
You go. You have it. Go.
Oh, because I don't. I'm just asking the question.
Literally, it is the picture of Pond shirtless and his hair is like, and I'm like, you are a child. I don't know why, but I absolutely, and then you see them like moving around on the stage. I'm like, how do we get this perfect photo of this moment? But that's one of my favorite all-time moments. And also, I did not realize the pants situation that was happening until a little bit later.
Yeah. I kept saying, I was like, the button shortage has moved south.
Hilarious. I felt so bad. I was like, you're okay. You got this.
He was, well, and I think was it me that somebody, I'm pretty sure it was me, said that I wish I had the confidence of in those pants.
Yes.
I was like, I need that kind of confidence.
Yeah. Ooh. There were just so many moments where I was like, you're doing it. Okay.
I think for like there's after show and show, right? I'm torn between the actual show between when they did the big band, all of them together, because I really enjoyed that song. It's on its own. It was a good song, and they all like really were into it. Like I would go see them perform as a band, but I also really loved Pooin and Jim and I playing piano together. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. I think they both did an amazing job, and I was just like, I love piano. Like that's my instrument. I can like watch a piano concerto or whatever. Like I'm into that. So like watching them both like really get to showcase something they're very good at was really fun. And then after show, anyone hugging Mix at any point in time, I could watch it over and over again.
You know what? I forgot because it was some of the stuff that came out like in the very beginning, and then we got like so much more. But Earth with those freaking tissues, hilarious. The fact that and then Nan had the tissue box and was searching for it.
Yes, he was holding it, and then he was looking for it. Yeah,
I know. I was like, you are not great in a crisis. He's like holding it in his hands, like people are crying. Where's the tissues? But there's this one part I just love seeing Earth just like reaching out to someone, and someone thinks he's like coming for a hug. They're like, "Thank you," and he's like, "Tissue." What's going on?
He's like, I can only handle so much. It's a lot of emotion on the thing.
You go to Mix for hug duty, okay?
Yeah. And then Mix is crying and Earth is like, I don't know what to do. I'm out of tissues.
The one point where he does this, like a trigger cry happened.
Yeah.
Like, but I.
It was. People were like seeing his arm reach out and they were like, oh, and then they were just like, good. So funny. He's like, that side's taken care of. Now I've got this side. Oh man, that was hilarious. I do like when Mix starts breaking down and then people edited it with Earth like pats his arms and someone put an edit over it that said sorrows, sorrows, prayers.
That is one of my favorite edits. 25 himself, she did that edit.
Oh man, that was hilarious. That was so funny. I like that one. I did also like though the afterwards you were saying like the after show, how many of them, how much we learned about the behind the scenes. Was it Puin who was just like revealing everything about who decided to do what when and like when the decision, and then he was like, we didn't even think Dunk was going to do it
later. And he's like, yeah, this is why we were so excited when Dunk did this, and we're like, what? I don't think that's what this live is supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
We were backstage cheering when he bit his neck. It was so
I think my favorite in moment, like in show moment, there were several of them, but my favorite one is Nanan, Gemini, and Fourth, especially when Fourth tested the boundaries of in particular, was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the after, I think it's when Gemini and Ohm's jackets were mixed up, and as more edits came, or like as more fan cams came out, you get to see like the whole picture of what was actually happening. How like Nan noticed that Ohm's jacket wasn't his jacket, and then he got up and went across to Gemini and got Gemini to switch the jacket, and then you just watch him like eat him as he's trying to switch his jacket, and then Gemini is like, oh yes, I like this jacket so much more, and he's like two very different things happening on the same screen.
That it is, every new angle is a gift. I swear. Because if had we not gotten that angle, would not have seen Nanan. Whew, that was one of those moments. He'd been there too long. He'd forgotten himself. Like, dude,
squiggly.
I'm up here.
Past the squiggly part.
Because I was like the slow roll, like full scan. I would have done it too. I'm not.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, I'm also doing it. I'm just saying, like, we also can see you doing it.
That was funny because if you had not shown that, I had completely missed the whole like jacket switch thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was just a slight shade.
Yeah, but Nanan was very, very much knew that was the wrong jacket. And I was like, how long have you been staring at him to know that that wasn't the jacket and that the one over there is the jacket?
She wondered if it was just driving him insane through the whole show, and he was like, I'm done. Switch.
Like, just get it over with. Because I mean,
and if they weren't in this weird situation, he would have like just gone over and been like, take the jacket off and take it off. Done it himself.
Yeah. I'll just fix it for you. Because Gemini, my favorite thing was Gemini, once he realized that it was the correct, like once he switched and he's like, oh yes, this matches much better. Like he's having a good time realizing he has the right jacket now. I was like, sweetie, was it that much different than the last jacket?
He really was like, this is a far superior jacket.
Look at me now. I got a jacket on.
Like, imagine what this show would have been like if I had this on the whole time. You guys are actually making me cry tears from laughter. Like, you said that was your in-show favorite moment?
No, that one was my out-of-show. My in-show was when Fourth basically backed Ohm all the way up against the edge of the...
That was great.
That was a good time.
That was fantastic. I do appreciate whenever someone can get into that moment of panic because
Because normally he's the one causing the panic, and it's nice a little turnaround on that. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice little game of chicken that he realized he was not prepared for.
I have a bonus one. Just anytime Jim hugged anyone, or just like, because none of his hugs were gentle or you knew they were coming. None of that. It was just like he was on you at some point. Just the response.
And it was everyone. It wasn't like the select few that we thought it would be. It was everyone. Everyone was fair game. Even Jimmy. What I got that video of Jimmy walking across the stage and like hop skipping and doing a weird dance with Gemini, and I'm like, what is happening?
But I had heard that like they were that they had that energy you saw was real, and that people seemed to really like them across the board. And watching them in that, I was like, okay, because there is an innocence to how they interact, and they are just like, oh, I can hug you, I can sit with you, you'll be my friend, will you be my friend? And it's all just, it feels like pure in the sense that they just really just want to be around everybody and love on everybody. And so I can see why, like, that's probably refreshing to have around, and then exhausting, like you said, Tay and often Gunn were at the birthday party.
That is one of my favorite things still.
Those were newborn parents. That's what that was.
we watched real time the progression of these grown ass 30-year-old men just reach a level of tired that I don't think they've ever felt in their life. I literally could not stop laughing. We just watched Newey go from like, like, oh yeah, we're here for fun, to be like scrolling rabies things. Now he's just sitting in a room, like Gemini's in there biting him. I'm like, you are not equipped for anything that is happening right now.
The way Gunn was done, Gunn did two things. Gunn did that story that was like, wish you were here with me. Then Off showed up and Gunn never reappeared. I was like, okay, I know who that story was for. And he was like, oh no, we're not going in there.
I'm like, in here. Gunn was yeeted onto that bed.
The house is on fire.
Literally, it was so funny because it really did just become Tay and New. They got stuck, like 100%. And I liked Tay's like Twitter thing where he was like, "This is how tired I was." Oh my gosh, it kept going. That was day one. All the videos from day two, like when what's his name? Gemini got his tooth broke, and then Newey was like, "Shut it down, turn it off. Good night, happy birthday."
Dad tone ever.
And
there was a point where you knew that they both just like, you know what? At this point, we don't care. We're walking away. And that is when you see Gemini spinning in the hallway trying to figure out if he's allowed to show the house. And you're like, because he's sitting here asking Pond, I was like, because he's the next oldest? Like, what is the plan here? Like,
or Pond's house. I was like, it's just watching, like, no one was given, it appeared like no one was given information on what was supposed to come next. Pond just standing outside that window door, and then him and Pooin literally, was that Pond and Pooin, or was that Jim and Bill? That was Pond and Pooin. Yeah, and then him being like, I've been outside. Where have you been? Like, it was so,
Jim was fine. Like, I'm on the ride.
She's like, you see my tooth?
This is how I know there was no staff around. That was them in the wild. That was them in the wild.
Also, what the hell is with Gemini just picking up shit in the background? Why is he always just setting up shop and being like, guys, look at this one thing I'm doing, and then crazy stuff is going on behind him constantly that he gives zero shits about?
You know what he reminds me of? That little meme of like the person that's sitting at the table drinking water saying everything fine when everything is on fire around them. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh man. We need a whole session on that birthday. because that was
Oh,
just as entertaining.
that was so much fun.
It was
Because one of the video clips they have was I think they pick up Gemini, it's New and someone else, and they're walking with him, and then like New like drops Gemini's legs, and he just turns around, and I was like, "There's
Oh
that
yeah,
one."
Huin and New had a hold
Yeah.
of Gemini, and they were just walking around, and then they just drop him, and then he tries to take off running, and then he slides, and he's still sliding as he's trying to take off running. I'm like, what are you running from?
There's this look in Newie's eyes where I was like, "Nah, I know that look. I'm a parent.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be like, can I get you anything?"
And then there's like this. He just was like, there's the video of him just playing with gun shoot, and he's like, ting, ting, like just. He was so, but I think they said he doesn't have brothers or anything like that. So I think just having like a group of people to play with, honestly, and have fun with and be silly with, he was probably so excited to have, like, that was a bomb birthday for him.
It is so funny because we know they're going to be doing that show with Tainu,
Yeah.
Afghan, Perchaman, and like all of them. And I was like, I 100% know that right now, Off and Gun and Tay and New are renegotiating payment, or they're like, no.
They must have staff with them at all times. We are not the staff to be with them all times.
I feel like they were on the phone with Earth Mix, like, how have you guys done this for so long? How have you handled these people for so long?
Put them in the storage house, and then they come out for food. That's how.
It's probably pretty accurate. But oh man, that birthday party was so fudge. That was so funny. Yes. I can't get enough of that.
I want more stuff. We're getting more stuff like that. I like it.
Me too. This was, I think the like fan service as far as like behavior that you normally expect to see, because it was very like on a repeat type thing. We're not seeing that.
Yeah.
And instead, I do think it's switching to volume of like just people being out and in the public and just content given to us.
Yeah, because that birthday party was another situation where it wasn't like no one was trying to sell a ship in that video.
No.
They were all just kind of hanging out. Everyone was with everyone else. And the genuine things that like went wrong were like genuine things between, but it was like that's your partner. So the Pond Pooin debate was clearly something they have, whether they know we're around or not.
Yeah, that one was funny because I was like, dang, okay. Feel free, guys. Feel free.
But even the Jim Forth situation with the two, everyone was like, they do this all the time. Like, it wasn't like.
The fact that Mark was there, like, this is what's going to happen. Blah, blah's going to do this. Blah, blah's going to do that. It's going to be too rough. Gemini's going to get hurt. And then Gemini got hurt.
And I cried because he was sad.
So when MSP was happening, they were over at Nanan's all the time with Mark. And I can just imagine how much Nan and Mark were like, oh, we're just going to let them. They're definitely the older brother kind where they're just like, I'm going to let them fight it out until one of them gets hurt and I have to call the parents. Like,
that was really, I still think it's funny because like we've got the older gen who, we're always like, oh, Gun's the baby. And then now it's like, and now Gun's like, no, don't even. You can keep that crap to yourselves. I'm over here. I have my drink. I have my dinner. I have my beach chair. And I am not being a part of this.
He is not interested in he's had to mom his sister. He does not need to mom these boys too. He's good.
He's like, no, I'm done.
He's like, I'm definitely the uncle that only gives the really cool gifts.
Yeah.
Like, we don't come to me for support other than you're doing great. Now go off and say hi to other people.
Be free.
After he got thrown on the bed, he was done.
He was like, this is not
yeah, that did not look fun for him.
I think we are going to have to. I don't think I can do it another half.
That's okay. That's totally
fine. Because I just realized it's dinner time here.
Yeah, I'm actually hungry and I didn't cook, so now I need to go find some food.
Ooh.
It's too late to cook now. Cook tomorrow.
So
But this was not fun.
I know, guys, we did it. Look at us.
We did it.
I'm very proud of us.
Wait, just like high fives. Other way. Where are we all?
I don't know. As long as you go both ways and we go, that was so corny. That wasn't even like a 5. That was like a gentle pat.
We were all just focused on getting our hands to go to the same
Wait,
spot.
I still can't do it. Damn it. I need to kiss the mirror so I can understand. It's backwards for me.
Yeah,
I turned that off on mine.
Yeah, I forgot to
I
do it.
didn't. So it was backwards. That's why I was like, wait, where am I going?
Nope, see? Even just now, I was like, I'll think about it. Nope.
Okay, that's actually really funny because I was like, why are they struggling? My hands are right here. You know what's bad?
Oh, no.
I like how it says this is season 1 of this podcast. We're gonna be lucky if we make it to episode 5.
Hey.
I'm sorry, we got this, guys.
Damn.
Rude.
You'll see.
I
us
just
for
saw
an
the other
episode 6.
podcast do that, so I was like, I'll do it too.
Oh, they do? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I should not be in charge of anything.
Yeah, the other podcasts are like on their second because they do take breaks.
Yeah, like if they take a few months off or something.
Oh, people take months off?
Yeah. They have schedules.
Oh, is this like a job?
Yeah.
Kinda.
They'll have like a certain amount of episodes per season, and then they'll take a break, and then they'll come back for season 2 or season 3. So some are on their 3rd and 4th season of their podcast.
Yes.
People are so put together. I'm like,
We know. You tried to tell you.
that's
This was great though. Yeah, we had. I don't know if we're releasing the first ones, but they'll see the difference.
Yeah.
I just hit my eye.
They'll grow. They'll grow with us. Grow as you go, one might say.
Guys, we were so put together for this whole thing.
It's okay. We had to get it out. I'll get it out.
It would be funny if we just released this and they're like, where's episode 1? I'm like, wouldn't you like to know?
We could. It's in the vault.
In the vault. We already have a vault.
We do. Yeah. First one was hilarious, but that was, now that I've been on some things, I've been around the block, I've done some stuff, and now that we got this, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. We tried to tell you. You were like, nah, we'll just do it. Come on, let's just go.
Why was anyone letting me mention anything? You can't be on there.
Is Emma here?
Nope.
Where's Emma?
I don't know, but now I'm concerned. Hi. That was my
Hi.
child. Who can't find my other child. And I was like,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
He's
That
probably
is a concern.
my neighbor brought Emmy back to the house and they were like, yeah, he looked like you. So I thought he was probably yours. I was like, thank you. He is in fact mine. He was staring into car windows.
Oh, shit.
And it happened one time when we first moved here. And then we had a long discussion about what will happen if you go outside and no one knows you're outside. So now he knows what kidnapping is.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah. But it was good for him to know. He likes to walk away with people. Also, I'm like, you were so easily led back to this house by a stranger. Child.
I'm starting to see how y'all are related.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see Elliot easily getting into, like walking away with someone just because he's in his own head so much that I could see him like accidentally following a different person than he's supposed to be. But Emmy would just be like, yeah, I think you're pretty cool. I'll take your hand. You gonna give me food? I'm following. Oh, he's so similar to me.
Yeah.
God, really, it is. Just give me some food. What do I have to do? Damn.
Yep.
Damn.
You wonder what we're concerned about all the time.
Shit. But I better go because we gotta eat food and stuff. All right. Well, now, how do we end stuff?
I don't know. We say thanks, guys.
I'll see you next time.
On Not Another BL podcast.
Woo!
Woo!